You might have heard the saying, the cave you're afraid to enter contains the treasure that you seek. And while that saying is kind of cool, it's very mysterious, it's very adventurous. Uh, I don't go into a lot of caves these days, at least not literal ones. So I'm kind of like, how does that apply to my life? What does that really mean in a practical sense? And what I've come up with is this, which is a lot less sexy, but a lot more suited to the 21st century. And it goes, the task that's been on your task list the longest is the key to your freedom and joy. What do I mean by this? The thing that you've been putting off the longest, the thing that you keep pushing to next week, no matter what it is the key to the next breakthrough in your life, in whatever area that you're feeling most stuck or wherever you're most wanting to make change. So even if the thing you've been putting off is cleaning the laundry room, and the goal that you have is to get a great new relationship, it might seem like those two things have nothing to do with one another, but I promise you, if you've been putting off cleaning the laundry room, or painting the garage, or getting that thing on your car fixed, whatever it is, however unrelated it seems to your goals right now, it's actually critical. And one way to think about this is that task, that unfinished loop, that unclosed loop, is holding you back to whatever point in time that you originally put it on your to-do list. There's a piece of you that's stuck at the level of development that you were at when you initiated the task, when you put it on your to-do list, when you wrote it down, when you put it in Trello, when you put it on a sticky note, whatever your system is, there's a part of you that's at that level of development that's stuck there until you finish that task. So there's a lot of energy built up in that unfinished task. And when you finish it, when you check that box, not only does it feel good to check the box, I mean, like our neurotransmitters go nuts when we get to check a box. It feels so good. Like it feels good to watch somebody else check the box, even if we don't know what the task was. That's how programmed and wired we are to seek that completion. So in addition to all that goody feel good hormones, we also complete something that we initiated as a previous version of ourselves and are no longer tied to that. We're no longer anchored to that past version of who we were. So now, if you put the task on your to-do list 3 weeks ago, okay, the last 3 weeks may have been really intense for you. You might have gone through a serious portal of transformation. And yeah, that's, there's a big delta between where you are today, who you are today, and where you were 3 weeks ago. And maybe 3 weeks ago, you're basically the same person as you were today. But if you put that task on your list like a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 10 years ago, whatever it is, you're dragging this anchor way to the past with all this energy stored in it. And so when you complete the task, oh my gosh, it's so liberating. All right, so let's have an example because examples are fun. So I've been feeling kind of stuck career-wise, business-wise, really like wanting to take things to the next level, feeling like all of my old tricks, all of my old tools have gotten me as far as they're going to get me. And there's a next level for me. There's a next evolution that I'm sort of at the edge of. And the thing that's been on my to-do list the longest has been to complete a motorcycle project that I started 3.5 years ago. This was a dream of mine for years, for decades, was to build a custom motorcycle. And I bought the bike on January 1st, 2021, and immediately tore it down to pieces and started customizing it and stalled out very quickly. And then just inched forward on the progress. It was slow. I kept coming up against edges that I didn't want to confront. And ultimately, this project, which is back on the road and running, and I rode to work today for the first time in 3.5 years, which feels amazing. This project taught me so much. It taught me more than anything else that the next level for me in a lot of ways has to do with surrendering and trusting other people to do things for me at a much deeper level than I've ever done that kind of surrender work before. And that's what's just been the chapter that I'm in my journey right now, which is, oh, it's fascinating and it's gut wrenching and it's so much. And so last week I realized getting the carburetor tuned up on this motorcycle and getting this thing back on the road, which it was like so close to being ready. That thing's been on my list for 3.5 years, and it needs to be done by hook or by crook, whatever means necessary. And of course, that means is asking for help, finding a trusted expert who knows more than I in a domain that I don't claim to be an expert in motorcycle carburetors. And yet my ego is very attached to, very identified with the idea of self-sufficiency and independence and doing it all myself. And I mean, there's real lunacy in that, which I can see now. But 2 weeks ago or 3 years ago, I was still hoodwinked by that illusion, the illusion that, oh, if I do this all myself, somehow that makes me a better man. So I took the bike to an expert to have the carburetor rebuilt last week. He did a fantastic job, turned it around in like 3 days, and I rode it home yesterday. And on that ride home, as the sun was setting over the foothills in Colorado, as I'm twisting through the canyons, something really unlocked for me that had been stuck on January 1st, 2021. This feeling of joy, this feeling of belonging that I've been seeking finally came back to me, or maybe came to me for the first time. I really don't know anymore. And all of the energy that was stuck in this project for such a long time is finally liberated to be used for other things. And so, of course, even though it seems like, well, a motorcycle project, what does that have to do with your work, Max? Your work isn't in motorcycles. Your work is in spiritual development and psychology and subconscious reprogramming. Well, yeah, but who I am transcends what I'm doing in the moment. And so that stuckness that I have released, that freedom that I've unlocked through finishing the motorcycle project is giving me boundless energy to create professionally. And the funniest part of it for me in this specific example is I wanted more joy in my career, in my business. That was really what I've been seeking, is like this stuckness was a lack of joy. And so, of course, a motorcycle project is where I'm going to find joy, because adventure and riding motorcycles is one of the places that I get the most joy. So I'm excited. My wish for you is to feel the same excitement. My wish for you is that whatever that thing is that you've been avoiding the longest, if it's really meant to be done, some things should just be surrendered and let go. And if you don't know whether this task that's been on your list for a long time falls into category A, where this is something that I should complete in order to free up the energy that's been stuck in it for such a long time, or category B, this is something that I'm really not meant to do. The person that I am today is no longer meant to do this task that I said I needed to do. I'm going to let it go. If you're not sure which of those two camps that this task falls into, you can offer it. You can offer it to the divine, to a higher power. You can say, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Great mystery, God, divine, show me what needs to happen here. If I'm meant to let this go, then show me to let it go. Help me to let it go. And if I'm meant to complete it, then show me that I'm meant to complete it, and help me to do whatever it takes to complete it. And you'll get a sign. Be open. Keep your ears and eyes and body and heart open to whatever the indication is from your higher self or the great mystery, whatever you conceive of God or the divine as. Just keep yourself open to hearing what the answer is. And when you get it, you'll know. And then you can act. You can either surrender and let go of this thing and be free from it in that way, or you can step forward and complete this thing and be free from it in that way. Neither one is right or wrong. They're just appropriate for wherever and whatever the thing on your list is. So I invite you to pick that thing right now before you finish listening, I think you know what it is already. You probably don't have to search your mind too much. I'm sure it's coming to you straight away. Pick it and offer it, and follow through one way or another on letting it go, so that that piece of you that's stuck, that's energetically stuck in the past, whenever that task went onto your list, that piece of you can be freed to come back to the present moment and create from here and have fun and joy. So I love you so much, and here's to your liberation.